It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but today I'm going to be talking about playing with the TCE using a deep mouthpiece. Generally, when learning to play with the tongue-controlled embouchure, super chops, or whatever crazy names there are for this system, it's encouraged that we learn to play with very shallow mouthpieces. Well, the reason for that is that, one of the primary sort of lessons in this learning this type of embouchure is that we have to keep the lips out of the cup. We lose our ability to resist the air and control and play with an appropriate sound as soon as we overblow and allow the lips to collapse into the cup. But really, once you've mastered playing on super shallow gear, you can size up again, provided you're very diligent about making sure that you maintain the same technique as you play that you used on the bigger gear. Now, this morning I've been teaching a cornet lesson, and I was teaching I'm using a Warburton mouthpiece. I have a 9D. That looks a bit like this. Where's the camera? The 9D is a pretty deep mouthpiece. If I was to compare that to something like my Jerome Callet DT10, it's an incredibly shallow mouthpiece, or at least by most people's standards, this is much, much deeper, you can see. And I usually play that with a 7 backbore on the cornet, but I'm going to chuck it on my Warburton 10 backbore for the trumpet. All I'm going to do is play through some exercises out of the Alan Vazzuti method book to demonstrate the sort of sound that you can make by using the TCE on deeper gear. Now, I said before it's a 9M, and so that means that it's actually got quite a small internal diameter. I think they say that it's 0.61 inches. But that's what I like. I don't think there's a lot of advantage to going to a bigger cup diameter. I'm definitely playing on something deeper than I ever used to use on the trumpet in my classical playing days. So I'm just going to pick some random exercises out of here, do some slurring, do some tonguing, and you can get a good idea of how it sounds. And I'll mention anything that springs to mind. If nothing springs to mind, I'll just play. We all know I don't like low notes. I'm going to go on to find something a little more technical. Maybe some of the finger flexibilities. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay, so there's definitely some work to be done here. So, just like if I were using a shallower mouthpiece, I still have the same priorities of using a small volume of air that is compressed, still using the tongue in the same way, forward between the teeth, and just using spitting as a means of a primary means of attack. Now, as you can hear that with a deeper mouthpiece, you know, I have the lower overtones are accentuated a little more, and the upper ones less. There's also a certain degree of spread to the sound which you wouldn't get from a shallower mouthpiece. There's definitely an interesting colour to the sound that wouldn't otherwise be there. But we need to make sure when doing TCE with a deep cup that you don't allow the mouthpiece to dictate how you play, because a deeper mouthpiece will encourage you to play wrong, or at least it will allow you to play wrong in a way that a shallow one will not. So. Hey, okay. Okay, there's one that needs a bit of work. Something I've learned from doing these videos is that every time I say that I'm going to do a part 2, I don't. So, what actually happens is I record a part 2 and I don't like it, and so I don't post it. But that's just a little thing. I actually didn't do a sound check before this, so hopefully the sound has come through okay. I'm likely to post this even if it hasn't, because the talking is of value. But if the sound is rubbish, then I'll do another one. I could actually do a better quality video that's not on my mobile, with a proper microphone, if that, because I'd like to get this sound across to those of you who are interested. Okay, have a nice weekend.